In Mexico, abortion has just been decriminalized throughout the country.
Buenas tardes, provecho.
Abortion pills are available over the counter.
Here, I'll give you this, and 2 more for your colleagues.
Feminist groups are handing out instructions on how to use drugs to have an abortion in the street.
It's for abortion.
Crystal has been helping Mexican women to have abortions for years. She thought she had come out of hiding.
Hello, this is for legal abortion.
But she's now helping American women. Just a few miles away, on the other side of the border, the opposite is true. The right to abortion is increasingly being called into question in the United States. So Mexican activists like Crystal are mobilizing.
Slide them into the bag and that's it.
She is part of a network responsible for getting medicines to American women.
These are the drugs used for abortions. Mifepristone, which is combined with misoprostol. This is the combo we're sending out to all women. It's easy to transport and safe to cross the border with them. Ensuring that women receive these drugs is not a problem. We know how to do it.
These pills cannot be sent by post from Mexico. Crystal is going to play the setter.
That's all there is to it. With this, I can cross the border.
The city of Tijuana lies next to the state of California, separated only by this wall. The demarcation between Mexico and the United States. It's one of the most heavily guarded borders in the world, but also one of the busiest. More than 60,000 people cross from Tijuana to the United States every day, on foot. Crystal is an American citizen. For over a year, she has been traveling back and forth between the two countries.
If you're lucky, you'll have a 45-minute wait, but sometimes it can take 2 hours or even 3 or 4 hours.
Crystal can cross the border with the pills without risk, because abortion is permitted in California. But since then, it has been forbidden to send abortion pills to states where abortion is illegal.
We have different types of strategy for packages, this packages, but I don't want to tell you. What I can tell you is that we could send these medicines everywhere in the United States, without exception. Women who wish to have an abortion using pills can do so, because in Mexico, we give them this option. All they have to do is contact us, and we'll send them the medicines. But to make sure that we're safe, I can't let you film beyond this border.
We'll let Crystal get on with her mission. She's the only smuggler to have agreed to talk to us. In the United States, assisting a woman who wishes to have an abortion where it is forbidden is punishable by up to 99 years imprisonment. Some women are breaking the law to help other women. A vast network of solidarity operates behind the scenes between the two countries. Abortion. It's a subject that divides the United States. Since June 2022, 15 out of 50 states have completely banned the voluntary termination of pregnancy. Texas, it's been leading the way, an ultra-conservative state, pioneer in the fight against the right to abortion, also a state bordered by Mexico. If Mexican women are mobilizing today, it's because Texan women no longer have any access to abortion, even if there's a risk to their health. In Austin this summer, a historic trial was held and eagerly awaited. For the first time, 15 women have decided to sue the state of Texas.
I would have had to give birth to an identical version of my daughter without a skull and without a brain. And I would have had to hold her until she died.
These women did not have the right to have an abortion. However, according to their doctors, their child had no chance of survival. Samantha became pregnant with a girl whose brain did not develop. She carried it for 7 months before giving birth.
My daughter suffered, and I couldn't give her mercy. I couldn't help her. I had to watch her die in my hands. She went from being pink to being purple to being warm to being cold. Her eyes were bleeding. It was torture.
Some of these women even nearly died during their pregnancy because of serious medical complications. They're all represented by this lawyer.
Since this case was filed, even more women have reached out to us to say the same thing happened to me. I can guarantee you that more messages are waiting in my inbox now. How many pregnant women and people must end up on death's door or be forced to flee the state before something is done? Not on our watch.
If this issue isn't addressed in Texas, in Idaho, in Tennessee, in Georgia, in Florida, I mean, you look at a map and half the country, we're a country now of abortion migrants.
They migrate to another state or to Mexico. While some of these women were forced to carry on with their pregnancies, others were able to leave Texas in time to have abortions elsewhere. The judge ruled in their favor, establishing medical exceptions. But the state immediately appealed. Texas now is proud of being the most pro-life territory in the country. In Houston, the fourth largest city in the United States, for the last year and a half, not a single clinic has been performing abortions. Kathy experienced this change firsthand.
This is the old Houston Women's Clinic, which was, they provided about 1,000 abortions a month here.
Kathy worked for a long time as a social worker in this clinic.
The old sign, oh my God. The old sign is laying on the ground.
When all the establishments went out of business, she decided to open a counseling center to help Texan women who had been left to fend for themselves.
Good morning.
Good morning.
11 patients, so that's what we have on the schedule for the day. And that's a pretty average day, 11, sometimes up to 20, and that happens a lot.
It's a discreet address, passed on by the word of mouth.
All right, very good.
On the day in question, only one patient allowed her camera to be present.
Good morning.
She's 24 years old and discovered the day before that she was pregnant. She wanted an abortion.
There are uterus, gestational sac, and right here's a little yolk sac, and there is a little tiny fetal pole, and you're measuring 5 weeks and 5 days. Okay? Did you want an original copy to this? Yes. Yes, you do? Okay. Bring you over back to Kathy. Okay? Okay.
Thank you.
You can have a seat right here.
No clinic in Texas can take Nellie on.
It's very scary to get pregnant in Texas because you don't know, if you're gonna be able to find some assistance or what you're gonna do, because some people, they don't know where to call, or maybe if you don't have anybody to talk to. It's pretty scary because it's kind of like you have to kind of do it like on the low. It does kind of feel kind of like you're doing something that's...
You're breaking the law.
Yeah, like you're breaking the law, yeah.
And I'm going to highlight and I'll kind of walk you through these. You might
There are two options. The first is to go to Mexico or another American state that allows abortions.
There's an organization out of Denver that flies people to Denver up and back in one day and provides the medication, and they pay for your flight. They do an organized trip where like 10 or 12 women from Houston as a group fly to Denver.
The second option was to have an abortion on her own, using pills.
The organization is called Plan C, right here. It's a website, and they're a clearinghouse. They're like a website that lists out all these different organizations that mail pills. So it's really going to be up to you to decide what you're most comfortable with.
Okay. Well, I was thinking more so the pills just because I don't want to really travel all that way just to get that.
Right.
Having pills delivered is the only way to get around the laws of Texas without leaving the country. It's on this platform, recommended by Kathy, that you'll find the pills from Mexico. A whole range of vendors were offering kits for up to 500 euros. There is only one organization that provides them free of charge. Las Libres, a Mexican feminist collective that has become one of the main suppliers of abortion pills to the United States. Before you place your order, a warning appears. The use of these pills is not legal in the state. The site also recommends disabling geolocation and using encrypted messaging. It is from Guanajuato, a small colonial town in the heart of Mexico, that the Self-Help Network. In this conservative state, until 2 years ago, abortion was punishable by prison. This is the home of Veronica Cruz, founder of the collective that supplies pills to American women.
Hello, I'd like a tlacoyo.
Yo quiero un tlacoyo.
Well done, please.
Por favor.
Yes.
I know the organization, yes.
Veronica has been voted one of the 12 Women of the Year by Time magazine. For 20 years, she defied the law in her country, helping thousands of women to have legal abortions. Her struggle helped lead Mexico to the decriminalization of abortion in 2021.
In 2000, when we launched our organization, 98% of the population of Guanajuato was Catholic. But today, I don't know which is worse. If it's my city, Guanajuato, 23 years ago, or the United States today. And it's crazy when you think about it, because the United States is a country with a lot of resources, supposedly more education, more advanced, it's the world's leading power, blah, blah, blah. So I say to myself, how is it possible? How did we get here?
Since Mexico decriminalized abortion, Veronica has redirected her fight to the United States. Its mission remains the same, to send free pills to women wishing to have an abortion at home. In the offices of the NGO, the phones are ringing off the hook.
Hello, girls.
She and her team receive up to 60 messages a day from the United States.
I've got lots of requests this morning. Let's see. I need pills. Tomorrow I start my 7th week of pregnancy. I tell him that we can obviously help him, but I'll need his name and address. I've just received another message from a girl in Pennsylvania. She asked me if the package has been sent. Can you check, Paula?
She's a new courier. It's the first packages she sent. She forgot to follow up. Then I get an email. I need 4 pills. I'm 4 weeks. Please help.
In 1 year, Veronica says she's helped more than 20,000 women in the United States. And in response to the flood of messages, she and her team have set up a register.
We specify her age, if she agrees to give it to us, the number of weeks of pregnancy, the postcode, and the state from which she is writing to us. For example, Texas, Texas, Georgia, Texas, Texas, Tennessee, Texas, Texas, Tennessee.
We have become a first aid, a humanitarian aid, so we try to process requests as quickly as possible. but we're really overloaded.
Veronica keeps a close eye on the U.S. news, all the changes in legislation. While we were filming, South Carolina severely restricted access to abortion.
We're going to update the plan because South Carolina has reversed its decision. Yesterday, the court ruled that it was now unconstitutional to have an abortion after 6 weeks. So South Carolina joins the most restrictive states.
Yo recuerdo todos los países de América Latina hace 20 años cuando nos reuníamos para hablar.
I remember 20 years ago when Latin American activists got together to talk about the fight for abortion. The United States was our model. Everyone wanted to have legislation similar to theirs. We thought that in the United States it was an acquired right, that it could never change. But all of a sudden, we discovered that the anti-abortionists have been working in the shadows for 50 years, and that they have succeeded in getting this right annulled. I never thought I'd see the United States in such a situation. And even less, it would be up to us to come to their aid. It's the world upside down.
In Mexico, for decades, the ban forced women to help each other to have abortions themselves. They're now sharing this experience with the Americans.
Well, I've just received another message from someone in the United States.
Veronica is going to send her some pills that are sold over the counter in Mexico. The kits are delivered to your home within a week. We can buy them thanks to donations from private individuals, American citizens. In just a year, they've raised almost 30,000 euros.
To ensure that these drugs reach women in the United States, we have put in place a whole range of logistics. The first group of volunteers is highly organized and specializes in transporting medicines.
A first group with passports and visas transports the pills to the United States by air or land. These pills are received by a second group, which is responsible for delivering them directly to the women who have requested them. Finally, a third person accompanies and guides these women through the entire process via encrypted messaging. A well-oiled system that annoys the powerful anti-abortion lobbies in Texas. Faced with the mobilization of Mexican feminist groups, some want to go even further.
Mark is a friend, a brother. He's also a minister. It's an honor to introduce Mark to this.
Mark Lee Dixon is an ultra-conservative activist. He crisscrosses the state, hammering home the same message.
Abortion is murder, all right? I always carry these around with me. But 12-week fetal model. Most mothers, they know they're ending that human life. They know, and they live with that guilt. And they need to find forgiveness in the Lord Jesus Christ over that sin.
At 38, he's one of the most extremist pastors in Texas, and one of the most influential.
This is a community that they're ready to see something happen. We love our God, we love our guns, and we love good food. That we are a people that we love life, and we want to do everything we can to fight to preserve our life and this state and this country.
Mark is the head of an anti-abortion movement founded by his grandfather. He has been traveling around small Texas towns for the last 15 years, like a crusader.
Triceratops are pretty cool, but the thing about Triceratops are they're extinct. And while I miss Triceratops, what I'm not going to miss is abortion. And one day, abortion is going to be extinct, not just in America, but in the entire world.
For 4 years, Mark has been fighting to create what he calls sanctuary cities for the unborn. These towns are off limits to any woman wishing to have an abortion in Mexico or in a state where abortion is still legal. With his lobbyist colleague, he targets the next towns to conquer.
If counties along the side here, bordering Mexico, were to pass ordinances, then anyone crossing those areas, well, if there's abortion trafficking can't take place, in some ways it is a war, where it's the war to end abortion in America.
And right now, America is in rebellion to God, and as long as that rebellion continues, we're going to have problems.
So you can have that. Well, we're going to find these people, and we're going to shut them down. If they mess with Texas, here in Texas we have this phrase, "Don't mess with Texas." There's a reason why we had that phrase, and if the abortion drug cartel in Mexico wants to test that phrase, then we'll show them how it's done.
67 municipalities have already adopted the bill. Today, he's off to conquer the 68th here in Llano. A small rural town of 3,000 inhabitants, a 4-hour drive from the Mexican border.
Action approving ordinance number 1501 regarding declaring Llano, Texas a sanctuary city to protect the rights of the unborn.
This bill is based on the surveillance and even denunciation of residents. They are encouraged to report for reward anyone who has used the city's roads to go outside Texas for an abortion.
Council meeting, so praying and get ready for it. So.
A town council, which was exceptionally well attended that afternoon. Each resident has 3 minutes to convince the councilors before the vote. The debates were fierce, and Mark's proposal was far from unanimous.
This is a city government. This is not a church. Abortion is already illegal. Leave it alone and please deal with this city's water needs and economic state. Thank you. I see how in our nation leaders are rising up to stand atrocities to our children and unborn, which I consider crimes against humanity.
So I would allow you to go ahead and...
The last moment, a local councilor insists on speaking.
I might disappoint some of you and surprise some others, but I feel like this is a lot of noise with no teeth. I hate abortion. I love life. I'm a Jesus lover, like all of you in here. When I was in college, I picked up a friend from an abortion clinic. Now that makes me a felon. So I think there's way too much to consider here. This is a big packet.
It will be tabled for another time.
The vote was postponed, but Mark is not giving up. At the end of the meeting, he called on the local councilor who had spoken out against the project.
We are going to do everything we can to get this on the agenda for the next meeting, and we're going to make sure that y'all may have to get in a bigger place, you know.
Let's meet at the lantern.
But you know, this is something that a lot of people care about this. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
I'll be back.
Mark and his friends are now appealing to the Supreme Court to ban the sale of abortion pills throughout the country, on the pretext that they are dangerous to women's health. At the end of our shoot, we wanted to check on Nellie, the young woman we had met at Kathy's Medical Center in Houston a few days earlier.
Hello. Hi, this is Ingrid.
She wanted an abortion and was looking for a solution. She finally found it.
Did you find a solution yet?
Yeah, I had messaged that one lady, and she said she was gonna send me the pill. She told me it should take 5 to 10 days. You know, yeah, most of the time it is Hispanics coming over to the U.S. to get help and stuff. So it was a kind of a different perspective. I was able to reach out to her, so I'm appreciative for her.
It's hard to know how many women have illegal abortions in Texas. Today, 25 million American women of childbearing age live in Texas where abortion is banned.